Welcome to Layered Insights, a 3D printing podcast. I'm Alex,
And I'm Matt.
and this week we've got another episode for you. So, Matt, what are we talking about this week?
We're gonna actually show some more parts. So we'll talk about some cosplay.
Yes, cosplay. The like holy grail for cosplayers is like a 3D printer. Like, how many people have gotten
Yeah,
into 3D printing just because they could make their own cosplay is wild.
that's I don't think I did any cosplay before
Yeah,
my 3D printer, so
it's funny. But now it's available to you.
point proven.
Yeah, I mean, I know when I started EG3D early on, I definitely did some like cosplay parts for people. I still get requests here or there for like a quick cosplay part or whatever.
Yeah.
And a few of the things I'll show here are like my most popular ones that I probably get the most requests for. And when it comes down to like making the final cosplay item and not just like the print itself, it
Yeah,
everyone for the most part backs off and is like, "Oh, that's too expensive." I was like, "That's what it costs." It's cosplay on 3D
well,
printer, especially some of the stuff I'm sure we'll get into here, um, is a lot more involved for the level of quality that I think people are looking for.
same with me. People
Yeah.
will reach out to me and mostly friends ask for, small parts for the cosplay.
Hmm.
But luckily they usually, they want to do a lot of people enjoy the adding the details and doing the paint and the
Yes.
finishing. So
Yeah.
usually they'll take care of that and they're just asking me for a printed part. Yeah,
And
it's
that's
like you
great.
said, I'm usually not going to give them a finished part. It's going to be way too much money. It's not going to be worth my time or their money to do. So
Yep.
usually they like, I think that's, a lot of cosplayers like the time and effort they put into, maybe they didn't make the main body of the part, but just the finishing and how it looks and
Mm.
everything, they take a lot of pride in that. So,
Yeah. Yeah. It's a very unique group of people. I definitely am we both are here to help with someone who's trying to do that. The ones that make their own or have the final say in the quality of the final
mhm.
thing, there's some pretty amazing people out there.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think some of my stuff does not even compare to
Well, you'll
compared to
see.
that.
Yeah, I think we're in the same boat there. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a level of effort that we're willing to put into
Uh,
these that
yeah.
maybe someone else who's got like a vision of what they want. I think for us it's more because we can more than
Hmm.
I want to achieve a vision.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I
hey,
like
do you want to
that
start with
because
your?
we can.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. So,
Yeah, why don't you start?
I'm gonna start with the one I haven't wear and it's not completely finished. So I'd say it was a big learning thing. So this is one
Mm,
of the first like really big projects I did for myself for 3D printing. A lot of parts.
mm,
This is where you learned all about like putting tons of parts together, sanding them down, making a smooth finish, putting paint on. Or like
yep.
you discover all the headaches to finish parts for 3D printing. So this, and I was trying to do electronics with it too. So
Mm. Oh,
my Iron Man helmet,
oh,
the light should work.
that
Well, one
looks
of them
great.
works. But I was trying to do the whole mechanic, so I have the servo motor in
Wow.
there. So it would lift up on its own. I was going to do an Arduino, but I never finished the project. But this was,
Buddy, that looks awesome.
it looks pretty smooth, but this
Yeah.
was probably 15 pieces.
Wow.
So actually, I think if you can even look at it
Really
inside a
well
little
done.
bit.
Yeah.
But right, it's all the gluing the pieces together, getting it so you can almost see a little bit of a seam here, right? Getting it so you
Right.
don't see the seams.
Right.
So I think I used some of the 3D printing pen to weld,
Nice.
maybe some glue, a lot of different things to put all the pieces together, and maybe they don't line up correctly and stuff. So that's even more stuff to finish.
Yeah.
But then using stuff like Bondo or
Mm.
car filler spray. So you spray it with car filler and you
Mm.
sand it. You spray it with car filler again, you sand it, and you keep sanding and filling it till you fill in all the layer lines, you fill in all the gaps.
Yep.
And then this is just like regular car paint.
Nice.
So a lot of work
Yeah.
and never ended up wearing it.
But
You
this
take you learn a lot from the process.
yes. Yes. And I think I think we're both in the same camp, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but I think a lot of the projects that we take on are they obviously start from a place of that would be awesome, and because we
Yeah.
can, but completing the project isn't even necessarily the goal per se, as much as it is the learning thing. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, and
100%.
like I definitely have like perpetual projects. I have to be good about not overloading myself with that, but I'll almost take on projects that have a skill set or a thing that I'm gonna learn that will then be useful, and that has been so useful for the business
Yeah.
side of AG3D. I mean, like the
Or
car
like,
fill the filler that you're talking about,
yeah.
that was a huge insight into that stuff. I think one that I moved when I do my next project like that, I think I'm gonna actually use just resin because it cures fast. And I can't
Yeah.
do a lot of the physical labor anymore like I used to be able to do with the sanding. So
I
using
think
the
the resin, you can
resin,
get a smoother finish faster too.
yeah. Well, okay, what
So a
was
lot
the
of
name
people
of
will just
that?
do it. I
Sorry,
know
go
what you're
ahead.
talking about.
Yeah.
You're gonna bring up the X
Yes,
something.
XTC or something like that.
Something like
The
that. Yeah.
skull. It's the skull that's the image that I
Yeah,
always think
yeah.
of. Yeah.
So like there's a lot of this stuff you can just paint on
hmm
and it's either gonna kind of melt it a little bit or just give kind of like that resin finish that's
Yeah.
easier. I wish I knew more about that stuff when I did
I
that. But
know.
like not only the finishing techniques, but like you're putting it together and you're trying to sand the lines and whatever
Uh-huh.
defects in the printing, you're like, okay, there's like 500 things next time I got to change with the slicing.
Yes.
So it's easier for the post-processing. It's
Yes.
easier for the assembly.
hmm
So you kind of learn how to cut down on your post-processing work
hmm
through, printing it better through the slicing or changing something on your
100%.
printer.
Yeah.
Uh, so it's like I'm not printing a part like this ever again.
This
You
will not
know,
happen again.
you learn very quickly how much things can be a headache,
Yep.
and it's I'd say it's worth as long as it's not a big part, like printing or maybe just a small portion of it
hmm
several times until
Yeah.
you get what you want, or it's going to take a lot less post-process work.
100%. Yeah. And it's tough to teach someone ahead of time that, although I know I've tried to save people from themselves a few times, you know. Sometimes they take the advice, sometimes they don't.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I will say from one of the lessons I learned, it wasn't cosplay related, but it was a job that required painting and smooth surfaces. So the same exact thing. That's where the XTC came in handy, but it never quite got to the smoothness that I was looking for. And I'm sure there was probably, I probably could have thinned it a little bit to make that easier. I think that's why I liked the resin after that
yeah.
experience. But also, like the paint job that you have on that looks tremendous. And I know getting the painting smooth and even is such an art form in itself, and you cannot like I will say this until the cows come home, even if that's a saying, waiting for the paint to cure and
Oh,
dry
it's
fully is
frustrating.
everything.
Yeah, you
And you
want
can ruin
it's
the
better to
entire part.
wait. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
You don't want to know how many layers of filler and paint are on that Iron Man
it's
helmet
crazy.
because of me being impatient, starting to sand too early or starting to do the next layer too quickly or
Yep,
spray painting too much at a time. You get the drip. So, there's a lot of me correcting my mistakes between each layer.
100%.
So
Yeah.
it is a lot about that patience
Yeah.
and doing it right the first time.
Yeah, and that goes back to like what we started with, which is like if people want the final product, the cost associated with that, for most people, it's out of what they were expecting to pay for something like that.
Yeah, it's too much time. I remember seeing one of the popular 3D printing and cosplayers be like, this Iron Man's he did the full Iron Man suit, and
Which is
I think he
sick.
said it.
Yeah.
I think he said it was like, $800 or $300 or something. It's like, oh, that sounds cheap. But then he did another video. It was like, okay, there's that much of materials, but really it took me like, a
hmm
year of time. And
Yeah.
it's if you actually total the time and the cost of that and some of the other stuff, it's like, yeah, it ends up being multiple $1,000
Totally.
suit.
Well, that looked amazing. First of all, I want to give you kudos because that looked amazing.
Thank you.
Going on that kind of route, you talked about all the work of like getting that assembly together and all that. And so I had gone the route when I had bought my big volume printer because
Yeah,
I just didn't want to do the splitting because I wanted to do helmets
100%.
and all that stuff. So I was like, all right, I'm going big because I just don't have the patience or the time or the I was also just had a bunch of other jobs that I was getting paid for. So I was like, I
Yeah,
need a printer for this. So I got the
100%.
CRS, the CR10 S5. It's 500 millimeter by 500 by 500 volume. Huge printer. I've upgraded it to the point where it's definitely not the thing that it started out as. But I mean, it's the quality that I've tuned on that thing is really crazy. And we're printing on a glass bed. It's huge. But the problem with printing a lot of the helmets is that they require so much supports, especially on the
A
inside.
lot of
And
support.
so, like, you think about the plastic that you're running through that thing, and you're like, the time, like we're talking like a 3 day print. And so with the supports, it just was like unattainable. So,
This is exactly why I printed mine so many pieces because I had a
yes.
small printer. I wasn't such an expert yet that I felt like I could print for 3 days straight.
Hmm.
So it's like I could print them apart with almost no support. Uh, but you learn like now, if I were to print it again, it's
Hmm.
going to be like one part or two parts, the faceplate
Yep.
and then the rest of the helmet because you just deal with a lot less problems and we have better printers now to
Yes.
print or like even slicing, right? Tree supports wasn't that much popular in the day. Now tree supports are great for this,
Yeah.
for helmets, for this type of thing.
Yep. 100%. And like it just the volume and material that you save, and even print time, because you're basically just printing a
Yeah.
one layer, a one outer layer support that, you know, that's a whole other story. But so what I ended up doing, because I'm a little bit crazy and I like trying these crazy experiments. Actually, two of these parts are using this kind of mentality.
Yeah, that's a lot of that's a lot of my side projects too.
Yeah. So it was like, all right, I do not want the support on the inside. So like, how could I do this? And I knew from my years of 3D printing, especially in the industrial thing, like the orientation
Hmm.
choices that you can make you create some really amazing stuff. And
Oh yeah.
so for me, I ended up printing this in one piece. This
Nice.
is this is the Mandalorian helmet, right?
Yeah.
And so very, very little
Very
supports.
big too.
And it's big. And I made this with extra room so I could wear my glasses on the inside. Now, the scale's like a little wonky, you know? But whatever. Like it's kind of oversized, but like
Hey, as long as
whatever.
it fits, as long as you didn't print something, you try to
It
put in your head and it doesn't fit, that's the
Yeah,
worst.
that's the worst. But yeah, so this one I actually supported right here on the back of the head.
Yeah.
And I actually just cut like a little slice off the top and like you can't tell, from this. And basically the only other place there were supports was in here.
Yeah, right between
And
the yeah.
so it basically printed like this. So you had kind of all the self-supporting areas of like all this
Yep.
stuff. And that was just from like taking a little bit longer to like obsess over it and just be like, all right, like what could
It's
work,
it's
you know?
it's worth it, especially if I mean if it's not gonna be if it's less of a pain to try to fill it in and smooth it out, then
Yeah.
move all those supports. Like I've printed helmets where I've had the tree supports in and maybe
Hmm.
they printed too close or something. And I just
Yep.
can't get them out easily because it's, you're so crammed in there. And then
Yeah.
with tree supports, it's basically like spines on your head
No,
if you can't
it's
fully
true.
remove it.
Yeah.
So
It's
sometimes
crazy.
that is the better option.
Hmm. Yeah. So like this, I never got to, especially since I had just started doing that spray painting project I was talking about when I was
Yeah.
doing this. And when I saw how much work it was gonna be to paint, never mind do the chrome finish, I was
Oh
just
yeah, the
like,
chrome
nope,
finishes.
this is saving for another time. And I still will get to it at some point. But the other thing that I had a friend who makes these actually on the regular, he said to just pick up like a motorcycle visor, and then
Yep.
basically you just slide that in behind it, and you've got yourself. You just got to slice this into shape, and like it's a brilliant idea. So like the next
There's
time I
a
do one of
lot of
these,
cheap
yes,
visors and stuff you can see through
yeah, and not something
to
I would
buy
have
for
ever
stuff.
known to pick,
I
you know?
I've bought in welding, like
Yeah,
those little welding squares you put in the mask for a different cosplay for the eyes, you know?
yeah, yeah. So that's that one.
Oh, I guess
What
that's
else you
my
got?
turn. What else do I have? I've got easy one.
Nice.
Shy Guy. So we did a group of us. So I printed, I don't know if I printed maybe six of these for a group of us for
That's
PAX
great.
East. So we
Oh,
all had like
nice.
really, really big red hoodies. And then we found another group of shy guys. So we all kind of, but that's, right. So this was a wide print. So I could easily print it like this with
Oh, okay.
supports and then not worry about like a perfect finish on the inside.
Right.
Put some
Yep, the pack
nice
and play.
padding for the face
Nice.
and just like a slight grill so you can see through it. But super easy,
Cool.
super fun, right? Just a
Yeah,
quick paint. It's a lot, right? A lot of these we're trying to do. I think the past couple of years we've been doing like group costumes,
I love that.
so that's fun to
And
do.
conventions
Then
like
of
that
course,
are perfect. Uh,
yeah. So of course I'm printing like for 5 or 6 people. So
but that's such a
try to keep
great
it minimal.
that's such a great like yeah, minimal project that has like a maximum effect. Like
Hmm.
and I think with the way that we think about cosplay 3D printing, it's just like what can I get away with that's going to have the most like pop without me like hating my life trying to print all of
Yeah,
this.
yeah. It
Uh,
doesn't. Sometimes a simple cosplay can be a great cosplay.
Yep.
It
Yep.
doesn't, you don't have to 3D print a giant suit and,
Totally.
just have a nice, easy mask that's comfortable that you can take
Hmm.
off, comfortable attire, and something you can
Hmm.
do with your friends.
Totally. And so that the simple thing, going right back to it. So I have something that was something that actually started off as a fridge magnet and then actually ended up being one of the more cost-friendly costume slash cosplay items. And that was a
Oh,
Star
yeah.
Trek comm badge. So I made this back in the day where it was, what didn't have multicolor printing. So like it was just basically a gold part and the silver part, and then I would glue it together. And then there's a spot for the magnet in the back. For this, like it's literally just you got the magnet, you've got a piece
Yep.
of metal, something like a washer or something simple for the back. You've got yourself your cosplay, right? Like if
Yeah.
you're if you can get your outfit or make your outfit this like I think it's like $9 in my store.
I
Like
didn't
it's
know. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's such a great little. I've had people from Europe buy these out of the store, and I'm like, huh, is there some kind of convention going on or something or a big Star Trek event? And usually there is, so it's always funny, but like this little thing
I
like
think,
can make a
yeah,
huge
I think
difference.
just, you have your clothes, your
Hmm.
whatever cloth and stuff, and just adding that one simple
Yeah,
plastic thing that looks legit can
yeah,
really make the outfit.
yeah. No, it's
It could
cool, and
just
I
be these little details.
totally. And like I added this little like revolved cut on the Z of it, so it gives this weird like pattern, but
Yeah, it looks
that just
cool.
makes it unique. It's just like it's not like everything else out there, and it's just
And that's part of cosplay is
yeah.
sometimes is not about being exactly a character, but being your version of that
100%. But yeah, that was my simple one.
Yeah, I'll go to the next group cosplay we did. This was a little more work. We did one for Lethal Company.
Hmm.
So they run around in these giant helmets.
Oh, that looks
So once
great.
again, I had to print 6 of these.
Wow.
Uh, actually, how did so this one actually did print like
Nice.
this.
Beautiful.
The the black pieces were a different part that we glued on.
Hmm.
And then this was just like a cheap, very, very thin plastic thing. Um, but yeah, right? Like really no supports except for in here and I think
Hmm.
under the ears. And like it doesn't look that bad. We didn't even paint
No.
these at all.
Yeah. I mean, and
I think the
who's
only
who's
thing,
really looking like down on your head and like Is that really going
Yeah.
to take away from it? Like,
I
unless you're a
mean,
snob with this stuff, it doesn't
yeah,
matter.
yeah. And the graphics in the game aren't that good, so it's
No.
kind of matches the thing, right? So this was, I mean, yes, it was a long print,
Mm,
but to put it together, it was pretty simple cosplay. And
yeah.
then all of us also had, this was a lot more work, uh, the backpacks that go
Wow.
along with it. So we concocted these straps and we could all wear the backpacks and these come off and attach with magnets. So you could actually store stuff in here. So the
Nice.
yellow parts were base mode, so I could save on as much material as possible.
Smart.
And that also makes it see-through. So I have some of these like studio
Oh.
lights that will flash different colors. So I had one in each. So
Oh,
my little things were like a party in there. So that
great
was kind of
effect.
fun.
Yeah.
So these were pretty easy too.
Damn. That's
But
that's awesome.
but we were, in that game you kind of do stuff and there's some dancing around, so we're all dancing around and it was fun. People really enjoyed that one.
That's awesome. You guys like doing like a flash mob for
Yeah, pretty much.
cosplays. That's fun. Um, so you mentioned that's like also functional. You could put stuff in it. So that brings up this
Yeah.
one. I think I've
Oh
shown
yeah,
this on
their
another
backpack.
episode, but that's right, the backpack. So this is I wore this at New York Comic Con 2024. So this is the adventurous astronaut from. Oops. This is from the V Friends collection. So want to check that out. V Friends is pretty interesting. Good group of people that I was actually going to meet up at New York Comic Con. So it's like the first time I got to meet all these people that I've met online and been hanging out. So the astronaut, obviously, for reasons because I have a space podcast and it's the other part of my life aside from 3D printing. I was like, I gotta do the friggin' adventurous astronaut. So I think this was the first time this had ever been cosplayed too. So basically just took the design from
Because you modeled that yourself, right?
yeah, completely. This was completely from scratch and using pictures. I didn't even have like a full like they still didn't have like a full back picture of this, so I had to
This
like
is a
estimate.
true cosplay.
Yes, yes. So like it's kind of cool like the buttons, they don't switch, but they are in the shape of a button. It's got this like cool little like nubs for the backpack and then I had put a thruster on the bottom which has fallen off since then, but just simple stuff. And it's actually backpack. So I had built this like stiffener on the inside, like a rib cage basically, because this is that TPU foam that you mentioned,
Yep.
which is really such an amazing durable material. Like I went on a train ride to New York, spent 2 days in New York walking back and forth with this as my backpack, and
It's the
it survived.
Verisure is very durable.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of TPU and the flexible materials are very durable.
This changed my whole like world on that. And like after learning what you had mentioned about the TPU, I think next time what I would do is before I even paint it, I would go in and just hit this with a torch,
Yep.
because this was, and this is the worst way to do cosplay, but I wasn't sure if I was going to even make it to New York Comic Con until the very last minute. It was didn't couldn't really afford it, but I just wasn't going to miss that opportunity to meet all those people. And I'm super glad I went, but it also meant that I had to get the cosplay
Last
done
minute costume.
really quickly. So like, and this was, this part was printed in one piece. So, built from this bottom surface and it was with a material that I was brand new to. And it's so unique because you're actually estimating how much it's going to expand.
hmm
So, what you see in the slicer is like not what it's doing in real life. So you're printing you this is one of those materials you got to read the data sheet for because it actually tells you what to do. But like I started with like a little tiny version of it so I could see how the different features like this overhang, like could I do it without support? And it turned out I could. And so I just like went for it. I did the small one, then I did a little bit bigger. Once I had those settings dialed in and I figured out the foaming, I just like went for it and printed the whole thing. And then I printed this in one piece And originally I was gonna sew it on the edge
Oh,
here
okay,
because it was
yeah.
like a fabric, but this is just like even at that thickness, which is
It's hard to get through.
maybe like 2 millimeters. Yeah, it just with a needle, it was not gonna happen. Like I could have probably done it with pliers, but like what a pain. So I just used the hot glue gun and it did
Yeah.
exactly what I
You-
needed.
So this would have been a good time for a soldering iron. Poke the holes with the soldering iron.
Great point. Yep.
Because I think this stuff would sew well.
Yep. No, you're right. It was getting the hole done. That was the problem, and I just wasn't gonna deal with it. But that would have been great. See?
Uh,
But that's what happens when you do it last minute. So, but it paints super well. I didn't
yeah.
have to do near as much work to get even that first layer of paint.
Hmm.
So, going forward, I would use this and it's lighter,
Oh yeah, yeah.
which is a
It's much
huge
lighter.
cosplay add-on. Like doing this project showed me that like this material is like the golden grail, the holy grail of like cosplay materials. Like for the helmet, you could even like have your built-in foam for your head. Like you wouldn't even have
Yeah.
to add
Well,
foam, which is just crazy.
and it's like if you knock into something, it doesn't feel like you're gonna break it or hurt yourself or hurt
Right.
someone
It's not gonna
else, you know?
fracture. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
so it's that my next thing will be the same material, right? Oh. Uh, so this is all color fab Verisure. I think
Mm.
it's printed in three parts and I welded it together with the same material in a 3D pen. So this
Oh,
is
damn.
a zombie mask. So
Dude.
this actually attaches. Let's see if I can do this. Oh,
Nice. So just
stop for a
some,
second.
was that like
Attached to my
mask
pen.
mask
So it actually kind of moves with me.
cool.
And I didn't wear glasses. But you actually
Dude, that has such a crazy effect. Holy crap.
have a moving zombie head. So
Wow. And would you wear like a mesh like body head cover?
say again.
So underneath, did you wear like a black
I
like
did. I
armor?
think I painted my face a little bit
Oh,
wherever
okay.
you could see my face. I kind of did like a
Yeah.
red or some grueling stuff. But like you said, I just use acrylic paint on this.
Uh,
It paints up really well. I didn't so and I use 3D pen, so it doesn't look great, but I didn't really care because there's
but it's
zombies, so
rough. Yeah, exactly.
you look torn to crap anyways.
Yeah, and he could have
And
had a lobotomy. It's totally possible.
yeah,
Yeah.
and like you can actually see some of like the
Wow.
stringing and the retractions weren't great, but like I think it adds to it because it looks
Yes. I
like
was
the
just
flesh is
thinking
coming
that.
off. So it's like I didn't really try to completely tune it in.
Wow.
So I liked the texture that I was giving to it, and it just looked like, there's patches of skin almost coming off.
Mm,
And I just hand painted this with acrylic paint, like cheap acrylic paint for Walmart or whatever. And
wow.
it takes the paint well. Of course, I eliminated some of the stringing and the seams as much possible
Mm,
with some fire first, and I actually got most of it to more of a, I wonder if you can catch it on the inside. You'll see parts that are more shiny
sure.
and less shiny. So like that's where I hit it with fire. So you can hit
Oh.
it, try to get to a semi glossy state on the
Mm,
outside before you paint it if you want it a little smoother looking. But then like you don't have to worry about like you breaking it. It's super
yeah.
flexible and durable.
Hmm.
Like nothing's gonna happen to it.
Hmm.
Um, so it's like you said, I think it's great for helmets or backpacks or different things that you might even wear on, like super good for armor.
Mm,
I don't know how easy it would be to get to get a really nice finish and then get like a shine on it for some of your shiny or what should be hard armor and stuff. But
right.
I'd say it is similar to what a lot of people do with the EVGA foam or EVA foam. So
Mm, yes.
so love this material.
Yeah.
Very
No,
fun
I'm
for
so
this type
glad
of stuff.
you brought it up to me because, and I think I was even trying to use it for something else, and then just started using it, and I was like, damn, this is really
Yeah.
impressive.
And like you can, right, the most of the TPU, you're only getting to at least easily printable, you're only getting to about 90A or maybe 85A.
Mm,
But with how this prints, and you can change the temperature for the different durometer or softness,
yeah,
you can get much, much softer prints out of it.
yeah, yeah. And it's hotter is softer, colder is harder.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's really cool stuff, man. And that came out. I mean, the effect on that is huge. And I like that. I would say the downside to a material like this is that even though it's foaming, if you're going to do something like a helmet, it's going to take a lot of material and it's not super cheap and it doesn't
Yeah.
come in, I think it's what's a 750 spool, 750 grams.
750.
So
Yeah.
like you gotta kind of, if you're trying to do a helmet, you're probably gonna need at least a full spool, probably more, even
Yeah.
with the foaming. So unless you're able to, so for instance, like this thickness here on this Mandalorian helmet, like I would say that even this is probably too thick for the very Ashore material. I would probably go like another millimeter thinner,
Oh,
for
yeah, to
like
save
your
material.
balance of like material used and like yeah, just the material used, right? Like it's gonna be sturdy enough even in a pretty flexible state. And then you've got
Yeah.
to, you got supports, right? So like you could probably get away with printing like this, like we've done, but still it's
The
something to
supports are
consider.
super easy to take off with that material too,
Yeah,
usually.
true, true, especially with like a flush cutter, like if
Hmm.
for anything that's tough, yeah, you could
I
just use that
usually
one
can,
tool.
I can usually just peel them off too.
Yeah.
I think I
Yeah, your
usually use
fingers don't get beat
non-tree
up
supports.
like they do with
Yeah.
PLA. Yeah.
But you want to be careful. You want to make sure you're better off printing slower. This type of material, if your
Yes.
extruder's not 100% set up well, or if there are some gaps, sometimes the material will slip
Mm-hmm.
out between a gap and then you'll stop a print.
Yep. No, and
So,
and I saw from I'll be able to show you from so when I was printing this, I was watching it. I started earlier in the day so I could watch it. And so for instance, like in that corner there,
yep,
like that is an artifact from just printing too fast.
yep.
Like it just doesn't have enough time to set. And because it's expanding as it's printing, like you really got to go slow. And I think I used a point 0.8 millimeter nozzle on this,
Oh, wow.
which I didn't have the heat soak issue or the lack of heat issue from like extruding because it was so slow and because it wasn't that hot. The extruder
Hmm.
could actually keep up with it, which is usually a problem with pushing this much plastic with that big of a nozzle. So
Yeah.
it actually worked really well with that, which was surprising. You just, like you said, you're not printing fast. Yeah.
You're trying to make it not fail
Yeah, pretty
itself
much.
before the time's out.
Pretty much.
So that is
Um,
the only, it is more expensive. It's going to take more time to print, but
yep.
you can get a more durable and a really good helmet or costume or whatever out of it.
All right. So this is probably this next one. Oh no, I did this one. You go next. So this was
It's your turn. I just
oh,
did
that's
my
right, you did the
phone one.
zombie. It was so good. It was so good. Okay. So my final one. So this is probably the most famous thing that I've made cosplay wise. I've gotten the most feedback for. We did a video for it. I've got one actually that I didn't bring that's actually in that same category, which I'm surprised I didn't even bring it. I may be able to find it afterwards, but this is easily the most sought after thing I've ever printed. And it's not even done. That's like that's going back to some of the stuff that you've shown. Like it doesn't even necessarily have to be a finished thing to have an effect.
No. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So this is the Starman helmet. This was like what? A model that was like available on Etsy for like a little while.
Oh, was that
Um
where it was?
yeah, and some I can't remember the guy's name. I think it was a guy. There are amazing female designers out there, but regardless, the person that made this put up maybe it was like 500 of these, and then
Oh.
eventually it sold out, but like people were just like selling the model or like making like these for people after buying the model and it's a great like investigation if you want to look into like copyright law
Oh,
and
yeah.
like there's a whole we could do a whole series of episodes on just like intellectual property and 3D models. Like this is a great case study on like what happens when the demand of something goes up like so high and it's just like something that someone made and was like trying to get paid for, of just like their work. But so this one's interesting because it was something I took my learnings from the Mandalorian helmet and applied
Yep.
it to this. And so this is two parts. Up here. So it's two parts. It's the inner portion here. Uh, you've got a ceiling. I've got all my foam in there. There's clips actually that it comes down to, and then this upper portion just has some nubs that rotate inside. So that's what causes that to close.
Yep.
So a really great design. You might be able to see it back there. You can see
Looks
that.
pretty easy to print too.
Yeah, and it's thin, right? So the person that designed this did a really great job of like not wasting material. There's little grooves and all the little patterns, but you know, this is so this one I actually printed like this,
Yep.
just because that ended up working better. So this I did a video for Today in Space and AG3D on this of just like making it and showing it off. The visor is actually molded. I forget what the material is, but it was basically heat formed, right? There was like a
Yeah,
block
yeah.
that you could print out so you could form it. And I had a friend who was making this as well and sent me their test copy, which was super nice. But yeah, I just connected it with some hot glue, like, and I've worn this out to places. I had it as like a Halloween costume and I've never finished it, and it still has like a crazy effect. I think people like it more that it's not finished and they can see that it's printed. It's that weird place that
Yeah,
some
in
3D printed
between.
parts get to where it's like y- so many people, especially us that have worked in the industry, if you don't look for the new people anymore and you're just in the pool of people who have been in 3D printing for a while, there is this I don't want to use the term snobbiness because it's not necessarily
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
Like
I know
part
what
of
you're
it is
talking
like
about.
the best quality you can get off the printer
Yeah,
means
yeah.
you're going to sell that printer more, right? So like it's a
Yep.
natural tendency, but there is a tendency also in the industry to think that you need to like perfect it to the point where as engineers we know there's a line between
Yeah,
that
there's no
like 85
perfection.
to 99.999 that it's like
Yeah, yeah.
is it worth all the extra work to get that there? And so this was like a prime example for me to be like, it doesn't always have to be like a perfect thing. And this helmet actually started up a conversation with people who are in the space industry who wanted to do this. And so I was able to actually there was a someone so there's something called Yuri's Night, which is the celebration of international space flight, and it's named after Yuri Gagarin, who was the first human in space. And so a friend who works in the space industry and has a kids organization promoting space and all that stuff, they were going to Yuri's Night and they needed a helmet. So the conversation started as like, "Hey, we saw this helmet. Could you make us a helmet?" Then it was like, "I don't know if I have the time to make it for
Yeah.
you guys." And so I was just like, "Hey, like, what if I just send it to you? If you pay for the shipping, like I'll send you the helmet and you guys can use it." And it was a hit. They got to take all the photographs. They sent me some like merch to like as like a
That's
thank
awesome.
you. But it was just like this part like made it around the world, right? Made a big difference and then made it right back to me. And like, here it is. It's just like this part to me, like I'll never finish it because it just tells me so much about the potential of 3D printing and like that there's always new people that
Oh
don't
yeah.
know about 3D printing.
I think it's like the aspect where it's no, it's a functional part, right?
Mhm.
It
Right.
pivots. It's a great cosplay because you
Yep.
can get access to your face and
Mhm.
stuff. It's comfortable. But then it's also like it's not really something that's out there that you can buy,
Right.
you know? So it's like uh Tesla not Tesla, SpaceX
Yeah.
made these cool new outfits and suits and you can only see them in pictures, but it's like someone probably just mocked it up from those pictures and made an object that you could print and wear and stuff. So it's like
Yeah.
uh you're wearing something that's of almost exactness to something only a handful of people or more now will end up wearing. So
Yep.
it's I think to a lot of people it feels a little special,
Yeah.
you know?
Definitely. Definitely. And like the first thing that you showed, the Iron Man helmet, I remember when those models first like hit the internet and the maker community, like
Yeah.
there were people like yourself building them and doing that. And then at a certain point, I think it was around when TikTok started to get popular, like for some reason the model ended up in a in the hands of people who were like making injection molded versions of it so
Yeah,
that they
yeah.
could sell the helmet. And now there's this helmet
Now you
just being
now you can
sold.
buy them on the market. Before you
Yeah.
couldn't. It was right, like again, it was more special before because
Yes.
it's really only an item you can get 3D printed or,
Yeah.
unless it was made by some master modeler or something,
Yeah.
or you had a legit prop. So it's that we should actually do an episode on products that started in 3D printing and
Yeah.
then people turned into injection molding or full or
Yes.
other products too. Like you said, I think a lot of things have stemmed from the 3D printing world, right? And
Yep.
into other stuff. So
Yeah. And part of that is just like the open source slash free aspect of 3D printing. Like that's I mean, when anyone starts into 3D printing, there's always the like the benchies and like the three models and like the rocktopus and like all the like funny trinket stuff that everyone prints, and that's always funny. Like this one here, right? This
yeah,
Baby Yoda
Baby
like
Yoda.
hit the scene that year, and like everyone was using this model.
I've got a Christmas one. So
Yeah, yeah. So it's such a unique industry of like there's all this open source and sharing knowledge and do it yourself, but then there's also this just like the other end of it is like people starting entire companies and selling products piggybacking on the free stuff that's
yeah,
out there and claiming it as their own or not
yeah.
saying that it's not theirs. I think it was
Hmm.
probably the more common scenario. But that's that's what the industry is, it is filled with all
Yeah.
of those people and everything in between too.
And you can get new products to the market quicker,
Yeah.
new models and new stuff. So it's almost like when these things pop up to download for free, it's like not too many of these exist, and there's no other way to make them or get them right now, too. So it's kind of you get that nice store I'm looking for, like just something you can't get anywhere else, It's a novelty almost, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and then right, people roll with that, and it's like, okay, people don't
Hmm.
have a 3D printer, so let's sell this novelty on Etsy or
Yeah.
whatever. And probably not attribute the right people to who made the model or pay for
Yep.
commercial licenses for the model.
Yep.
So
Yep. But that's for another episode. What else you got?
yeah, let me see what else I got. Um, Another three-parter. So, well, this costume I made multi-use out of this. So
Oh.
a plague doctor mask. This was multiple parts, and it's actually screwed together.
Oh wow. Oh, nice. I couldn't even tell that from the outside. Well
Yeah,
done.
there's a little bit of stitching over here, but it
Hmm. Over
looks
Zoom,
good.
it's beautiful.
Yeah, and I think that you can see the layer lines,
Yeah.
but I think it adds to the texture because
Yeah.
the paint I used was plastic dip, so it has
Mm.
this rubbery texture to it to almost look like leather.
Yeah.
So that comes out nice. So I've worn this for like Renaissance fairs,
Oh, perfect.
but
Yeah.
then uh one PAX I was lazy. So I went with this, and then I also printed a gun to go with it. So this is for Percy DeRollo from Vox Machina.
Mm.
So he'd
Oh
he'd have
wow.
his gun with all like the people he targets to kill on it. So this was multiple parts.
Wow.
This was painted with like one of those, shiny metal finishes. And I actually did the handle out of the wood filament.
Nice. The wood PLA.
So this is wood PLA that is stained darker.
Nice.
So you get that more of a real wooden look. So you get the so this was a kind of a fun and easy cosplay because you usually pull this off and you carry a cool gun. So
Yeah.
and then when I wasn't wearing the helmet, of course I had his glasses to wear.
Oh,
Just
cool.
simple little glasses that I printed. That's a good one. And I think playing around with the different paints is really fun. Like the plasti
Mm.
dip gave a really nice texture and finish and feel to it.
Yeah. And the way that you
Uh,
oriented it too, like the layers go with the contour really well.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I got and yeah, it ended up coming out really good and using it multiple times. And then
Yeah.
I think yeah, the newest one was uh, I had a Lord of the Rings like Hobbit themed party.
Nice.
So I wasn't gonna do something. I wasn't gonna do something boring. So me and my girlfriend went all out. This was pretty easy because everything was printed. I think everything was printed in almost face mode or very, very, very thin.
Oh, wow.
So we went as tree ents.
Mm.
So we had, you know, we had tree trunks to put
Oh, wow.
around our legs. So this is all, single wall vase mode.
Ah.
And then I think I printed other trunks that we kind of then like cut up
Mm.
to be able to, put on,
Nice.
our shoulders and stuff.
And what'd you do there? Did you just do like hot glue?
No, we just taped them.
Oh, hey, double-sided tape is great. Yeah.
Yeah, we did low budget.
Hey,
And then
that
and then
works.
I took I sliced off one of those Groot heads.
Yeah.
So we had a
Oh,
little bit of like,
perfect.
right, our tree crown head.
Nice.
This was very thinly printed, and
Yeah.
then I actually heated up the rim so
Mm.
I could form it to my head better, so it
Nice.
stayed nicely. So this was a pretty, so everything was almost face mode or printed very thin, very cheap, very quick.
Love it.
Hand painted the brown, and it came out good. And
Yeah.
it was, I don't think you see too many tree ant costumes, so
No.
that was kind of a fun one that we kind of whipped together.
That's a great
Yeah.
costume. No, man, I'm starting to realize I think we've got to do another one because there's another episode like this because there's multiple Halloween costumes that I am only now remembering that fit perfectly in this. So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Now, was that a last minute thing or did you have time to plan for it?
No, I think I had about maybe a week or two.
Ah, see, the
So
necessity of it
luckily it was
sometimes.
all like face mode. I'm like, oh, I can just like, whip through these prints pretty quickly.
I love that.
But yeah, that was, I mean, that's why it was all taped onto us. So yeah, that was a quick, last minute costume
That's great.
that was kind of fun. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's super fun. And you guys were both Lord of the Rings fans?
no, it's just a Hobbit themed party.
Oh, right, right. You said that, right. I mean,
So I was like,
that's a solid, you know, that's a solid
yeah,
outfit.
I was like, we could be a Hobbit or something
Well, that's what everyone's gonna be.
regular.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I suggested we could do like something crazy like tree ants, and she's like, yeah, trees would be cool. So like, oh, great, what did I get myself into?
What have I
But
done?
no, then
Uh,
we went to like, Michael's and got some stuff that looked almost like camo, almost like a ghillie suit
oh,
that you drape over
yeah.
yourself and stuff. No, it
Nice.
came out really great. Everyone loved it, but it was like, oh geez, there's like this last, not the easiest Lord of the Rings costume to try to picture and put together,
Totally. Oh
But it
man.
came out great.
Dude, yeah, that's awesome. It's a well executed costume.
Yeah, so it's one of those that's like there's more thinking to it. So there wasn't really like a helmet or a costume online. It's
Right.
like I just found pieces. So I found like, oh, someone had a realistic looking trunk.
Mm.
I printed it in vase mode, and then like, I cut other things in half to make
Yep.
it work. So it was a little more creative than just finding a model
Mm.
online, you know?
Well, and that is one of the areas that I think a lot of people will start and stop in 3D printing. And you know, as much as I thought when I got into this that there was a ton of people that do that kind of thing that you just did, it's surprisingly a small group of people.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Even though there's
Yeah,
all this
it's
potential with this 3D printer that more and more people have in their houses, it's just,
yeah.
you know, do you actually know
Well,
how to use it to its
if the
full
model's
potential?
not out there,
Hmm.
if the, you know, you gotta have those 3D artists making stuff, or else people won't have stuff to print.
Yep.
So a lot of them won't design or don't have the skills to design some of the stuff on their own.
Yep. And
Like
even though there's
even
AI, like
yeah, even though
it's
there's
still
oh, that's
not,
true.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's not there yet. And I don't know how long it'll be before it gets there, or even if it ever truly gets there. Like, I mean, AI is a whole other topic, but you can get really lucky with some AI generative stuff. And I'm sure we'll do an episode on this, but it
Even there, you need to be able
yeah.
to take that model and make it hollow,
Right.
and maybe cut out the eyes and a different thing. So it's
Yeah, it's
still
not
needed to
the click.
manipulate the model a little bit.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah. It's the promise is or the expectation is that you can just like whip it together, just print it, but like most things, it's never that easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Do you have anything else?
Nope, I think
Nice.
that
A
was it.
solid haul, sir. Your projects are a lot more complete than mine are, I will say.
I've been to yeah, a lot of PAX Easts, and
Yes.
then I enjoy doing like the hol somewhat effort put in Halloween costumes. So
Yeah. It's but just something unique. Like it really, it's just fun.
if you yeah, especially if you have the technology to make something really cool,
Mm-hmm.
it's really nice to make something cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll have to do another one because I definitely have some more to share. I'm sure we'll come up with some new ones later this
Yeah,
year.
definitely.
But any closing thoughts on cosplay and 3D printing?
I think it's, I think cosplay has escalated. Like more people are doing it because of 3D printing.
Yeah.
Like, some of the skills you need to do with the foam and the different stuff before was a little bit more out of reach.
Hmm.
But now with all the models online and just painting, I feel like more people have gone into it because of the 3D printing technology, and it's just allowed an easier way to do it or even
Mm.
make more complex
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Like a lot of this stuff would be extremely difficult to sculpt or hand make yourself.
Hmm.
But if you can at least, put something together and sand it and paint it, it gives a lot more people the ability to kind of make their own creation. So
Yeah.
grew the community. I mean, I probably wouldn't be doing it as much as I am if I didn't have a 3D printer.
Yep. And I think a skill that I'm going to be working on in the future here, but is one that I think most of us don't have is just like making your own fabric and just like that side of things, the sewing, the
Yeah.
just like I've seen some amazing techniques that people have shared, like of getting your own fit. Like how many times, like even in Halloween, right? Like you're buying like a out of the box generic
Yeah.
size or shape, and it doesn't always, it just doesn't hit the same way, and you're like, yeah, I
Yeah.
got a costume, but like, you're happy you got it, but is it amazing? No. But like some of the stuff that cosplayers can do these days with fabric,
No,
um,
it's crazy.
with their own, they're basically tailoring their own outfit, which is just,
Oh,
you know,
the leather work that they'll do too and the different
yeah,
stuff. That's
yeah,
why I'm like, okay, what's a cool thing I can print and then have an easy outfit? Because I
yes,
can't do that work, so
yeah,
I'll shine with my 3D printing
yes.
stuff.
And like I've even started like embedding fabric into 3D printed parts, and that's a whole other, you
That
know,
stuff is super cool too.
so
Yeah.
cool. And it's not hard. And it really,
It's
when you
not.
see it done, when you do it yourself, you're kind of like, huh, that's it. Like I just, you'd think it was more complicated than that.
Well,
Um,
the new sensors and technologies on some of these printers, right? You don't have to, you can just put the fabric underneath it.
mm,
You don't have to go and adjust the Z again because it'll
right.
automatically see the fabric and print at the correct layer height for adhesion.
It's crazy.
So it's like it's almost, plug and play. You don't have to really tune the printer that much to be able to do it.
Hmm.
The results are just, I think they're incredible, some of it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some folks that are just doing magical stuff, and even not on the specifically fabric embedded side of things, but I know I've seen some creators who are using soft robotics in fashion and
Hmm.
3D printing with TPU to get these like
Yeah,
animatronic actuated assemblies that are just, man,
it's incredible.
it really is. It's amazing what people can do when you've got a tool like that combined with your creativity and imagination. It's wild. I think that's my last thought. It's just like you can do it. Like, you don't have to 3D print everything, but the stuff you can 3D print it is like
They just add value to it, right? I think
yes.
it's a big value added.
Hmm.
I think we're still only touching the surface of what people could be doing with 3D printing for cosplay.
Yeah. And it fits the culture of cosplay so well that it's like, you could buy something premium from somebody that's going to make it for you and that'll be
Hmm.
priced accordingly. It's never cheap.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it will be, if you pay for that premium, you'll get it. There's a lot of good people
Hmm.
out there. But also, you can go bare bones, scrap, budget, and pick up a 3D printer from a micro
Yep.
center or from eBay that's perfectly capable of giving you the structure and building the thing that you need to then do your own handiwork with.
Yeah. And even if you're printing big stuff like swords or armor, I mean,
Yeah,
you're still probably only going to go through maybe one to what, five spools of filament. So you're still
yeah.
looking at like under $100 of
125 bucks.
material.
Yeah,
So it's like, and then if you finish it yourself, if you can do it, you save a lot of money
yeah,
and you get a good product.
yeah. It's your time and your effort, basically, at that point. Yeah,
Yep. And you've your ability to make it your own, right?
exactly, exactly.
So
Well, good stuff. I think we'll close it on this episode.
yeah.
That's it for cosplay and 3D printing. If you guys have any other ideas of things that we could cosplay or 3D print, let us know in the comments. This has been Layered Insights.
Sh Share
Oh,
your techniques too. We'd love to hear
yes. Oh my God. Yeah,
what
if you
you
have
do.
absolutely any techniques, we can all learn from each other. That's the beauty of this culture of 3D printing
I'm,
and
I'm
making.
sure we've missed so many techniques and different
100%.
materials and stuff that people are using right now.
So yeah, hit us up in the comments or wherever we're at online for Layered Insights. But this has been Layered Insights, a 3D printing podcast. I am Alex.
I'm Matt.
That's it for this episode. Matt, where can folks reach you and see what you're working on?
Yeah, they can find me at niche3d.io or matthew.guy at niche3d.io or just on LinkedIn at Matthew Guy.
Perfect. And I'm at ag3d-printing.com where you can see everything we're doing at AG3D Labs. We've got the part detective that can help you with your 3D printing mystery. And that you can find at ag3d-printing.com. And you can email us at ag3dpartdetective@gmail.com and we can jump in and help you with whatever you're working on. And then we've got our Etsy store, ag3dprinting.etsy.com. That's it.
We'll have to print some detective caps and do an episode of Part
Yes.
Detective.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I actually have a
Uh,
project I got to do. I have to dye my fedora. It's white and
oh,
black, but I've got to dye it black. So I actually had to figure out color dye and all that stuff. So that'll be a fun project to show.
messy, messy, messy.
Definitely messy. Yeah.
Wear
Uh,
your old clothes for that one.
absolutely.
Uh,
But good stuff. All right, folks. Thanks for joining us.
See you next week.